What did Hillary Clinton's run for the White House tell us? Did she lose because voters didn't want her or didn't want a woman to be president?
Although we weren't able to shatter that highest, hardest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you, it's got about 18 million cracks in it. And the light is shining through like never before, filling us all with the hope and the sure knowledge that the path will be a little easier next time.
Welcome back to Harvard. That was, of course, Senator Hillary Clinton, now Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, in June of 2008 when she abandoned her presidential campaign and endorsed Barack Obama for the nomination. The Washington Post and Kornblut spent more than 2 years covering the Hillary Clinton campaign and writes about it in her new book, smashing new book, Notes from the Cracked Ceiling, Hillary Clinton, Sarah Palin, and What It Will Take for a Woman to Win. And join us from Hawaii, where she's on duty covering the president in nicer weather. And you're one of my good pals in this business, and I wish you well. Here's the book. I'm holding it up again. Notes from the Cracked Ceiling. And now for the toughest questions for women in politics. Here it is. How far did Hillary Clinton actually go in making progress for women at the highest levels of politics?
I think, and from talking to a lot of people for the book, and thank you very much for reading it, I think that she actually did make a lot of progress for women. I think, and from all the people I interviewed, voters are now able to envision what a woman nominee might look like, maybe even a woman president. They saw her looking presidential. That's something that happened because that nomination fight went on for so many months that she actually was up there looking presidential, all told, for more than a year and a half. So I think when she looks back at that, when her top advisors look back at that campaign, one of the things they're most proud of is that that might actually be something people can envision going forward.
You're a young woman, and I wondered how you look at things. One thing I noticed in the book you point out as a real surprise to you was that younger women at your age and younger who voted didn't have that sort of woman solidarity in politics, that they did go for as much for Obama as anyone else of their generation. That's a surprise to you.
Well, it was a surprise to me. I think it was a surprise to the Clinton campaign. Older women, of course, and we saw this by the end of the primaries, were very supportive of Hillary Clinton. They were her base, and the numbers actually only went up for her among older women as the campaign wore on, and there was a sense that she was under siege. But younger women, especially on college campuses, Obama had a real shot at them from the beginning. He went after them. He campaigned for them. And there wasn't the same sense. My generation of women and younger, raised on, free to be you and me, told that we could do anything. There was not the same sense that this was going to be incredibly difficult. And the Clinton campaign didn't emphasize the difficulties. They didn't want to. So in the end of the day, she ended up splitting younger women with Obama. If she'd done better, maybe by about 10 points, that could have made the difference.
I want the 18 million people who have voted for me to be seen and heard, to be respected, to be given the real appreciation that you're due. We have won more votes than anyone has ever won who has run for the presidential nomination of any party in our country's history. I am very proud of that. But more than that, I am humbled and grateful.
If she'd done better, maybe by about 10 points, that could have made the difference. And I actually think that the next candidate, the next female candidate going forward, is going to learn from that lesson.
Well, let's take a look at progress on the front here in terms of equality of opportunity at the highest levels. And I wanted to bring this up, and I think you have good thoughts about this. If you look at the United States Senate, which is, to me, the dream part of American politics still, we're looking at a map of the United States. You can't see it, but our viewers can. These are the states that have 2 women senators. Maine, of course, Washington State, and California, the largest state, all have 2 women senators. Now look at the states that have at least 1 of 2 senators who are women. A big chunk of the country, north, of course, the Midwest, the Great Lakes states of Minnesota, Michigan, Missouri, all across the Northeast, of course, you have women senators. Half the seats are women. Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. It's, except for the big sort of western states, incredibly good representation. Has the glass ceiling been broken in the United States Senate?
Look, anyone who's studied this issue like you have knows that there are now women represented from all over the place. Numbers have increased in huge proportions, even since the 80s. And it's easy to forget even some of the arcane rules of the Senate, like the fact that women couldn't wear pants on the Senate floor until the early 90s. So much has changed if you take the long view. If you take the shorter view, though, there has not been a year of the woman, a big kind of doubling or tripling of the numbers since 1992. That was the big year when the numbers tripled. So in both the House and the Senate, you've got about a fifth of the Senate being women. That's obviously nowhere near the number of women in the country. So yes, there's a lot more representation than there used to be, but the people who work on this, and certainly on the Republican side where the numbers are very low, would argue that there's still a long way to go.
You know, Senator Clinton, who's now Secretary Clinton, is incredibly impressive as Secretary of State. I think everybody would agree, and you certainly, I think, would agree. And I think that she comes across in a different way, obviously more statesman-like. Maybe that comes with the job.
We all want an America defined by deep and meaningful equality, from civil rights to labor rights, from women's rights to gay rights, from ending discrimination. There are no acceptable limits, and there are no acceptable prejudices in the 21st century in our country.
We have a common task and a common challenge.
Why can't we see that we are all in this together?
18 million of you from all walks of life. Women and men, young and old, Latino and Asian, African American and Caucasian, rich, poor and middle class, gay and straight, you have stood with me. And I will continue to stand strong with you every time, every place, and every way that I can. The dreams we share are worth fighting for.